Today we are talking about food access in East McCall, the Tilbury Foodland grocery store. Ladies, Lindsay, and can you talk about what the situation on the need for food securities in CK are right now?
Definitely. Thank you for having me. So obviously with COVID-19, a lot of employers have had to close their businesses down. So we know that the needs are going to increase. People who have never had to use a food bank, a soup kitchen, any type of may very well have to start doing that.
And if someone was looking for any of where should we be sending them in?
CK Gives website. That website is the link to the Chatham-Kent Food Policy Council website. So it's a really easy way to go in and get information that way. On the site is information both on the food banks, soup kitchens, voucher programs, everything that anyone could need to know about food resources in Chatham-Kent can be found on there, as well as a list of specific changes are happening regularly.
So how often are you updating that information, Lindsay?
Honestly, right now, almost daily. So hours are changing for different providers. New providers are opening up. Some other providers are closing. So really, I would encourage people to check regularly.
And volunteers, I can say on our end, so we from Denise at Foodland, and we have had to ask people to stop bringing gives to food, non-perishables. We're asking them to donate money, or if you would like to donate a food card. So Lindsay, can you expand a little bit on what you know, how food banks have changed in their provision of service, and how they're actually accepting help, including what volunteers can or can no longer be doing?
For sure. So the Chatham-Kent Public Health Unit has been very supportive in working with all of our emergency food providers. When all of this started, we met with all of them to make sure that what they're doing is safe both for the volunteers and for the people that are coming in. All of our operating soup kitchens or emergency meals are being done as takeout. So they're not encouraging people to come in and have those sit-down meals anymore. To really promote the social distancing, the volunteers are also being encouraged when they're preparing the food to ensure that they're following that safe distance, as well as ensuring that they're hand washing, have sanitizer available, making sure that everything's being cleaned safely and prepared safely. And then for the food banks are all being encouraged to provide packaged hampers rather than having people come in and pick out their food, just to limit how many people are in those spaces at any given time, and to promote that social distancing when they're waiting as well. So all of that as well. Some of them have closed down, food banks and soup kitchens, because they're not able to manage what's happening. A lot of the volunteers in these areas are seniors or high-risk populations, and they're having to step away for health reasons, which is completely acceptable right now. So there is a large need to ensure that to do it. There are avenues that are coming out on a regular basis, and CK Gives is a great way to do that as well. But if you are looking to donate, some places are still accepting in-person donations, but those are limited, but definitely providing them with funding is a great way to do it as well.
That volunteers and the different ways information online about that so that people that are working in food banks or volunteering can access that?
Yeah, so all of that information is available on the Chatham-Kent Public Health Unit's website, ckpublichealth.com, under the service provider. So we have health unit as well.
Awesome, thank you. So I'm going to call on Denise. Denise, you've been a long-time supporter of the Tilbury Health and Information Center. So let me start off with saying thank you, and a big thank you for you and your staff stepping up to, and strain on you. So please know that all of us at United Way and the folks from the Student Nutrition Program are what is your store doing to accommodate social distancing? And maybe you can speak about how you've changed your services, including how you're able to keep your staff safe.
Okay, everybody's seen this, the standard things. We've put the plexiglass screens up in front of the cashiers. We have markers on the floor. Also, now we're only allowed for our square footage to have 30 people in the store at one time. So there's things in place. Certain parts of the store that self-serve soup, we can't keep them safe. Sanitation all over the store constantly. Hand sanitizer for the cashiers. We are still accepting cash, but are touchless. They're Visa, MasterCard, those kind of things. So we're trying to limit the amount of
I think we're having a little bit of technical difficulties. Denise, what about curbside deliveries or any other ways that we're getting
to wash their hands? So some stores are having that hour for the seniors to shop early in the morning. We were really leery about that because anything I saw on the news or pictures and like very social distancing. So we didn't really lean into that like other stores might have. We encourage people to take advantage of our delivery service. We'll deliver your groceries right to your door. We have some great volunteers from our community who are helping with the actual delivery part of it. They're we get the orders ready in the store. They're all paid for. All they do is drop them off. Then we also have curbside. So you place your order, it's all ready to go. When you come to the store, we call you when your order is ready. It's already paid for. You call from out in the parking lot and say, I'm in a red Ford pickup truck, and you have the back open up. One of our staff brings it out to the parking lot, loads it in. Leave with you, and it's safer for everybody, including our staff and the customers.
Can you see someone on the line?
Huge. We're super busy. We have 2 people, sometimes 3 per day, doing nothing but preparing those orders.
What's your turnaround time, Denise, if somebody were to call your store and place an order?
Well, we've been doing really good so far. Most times, if the order's in before noon, 2 o'clock, it's the same day. Sometimes it's the next day, but so far we haven't gotten into 3 days even. So most times it's same day or next day. So I mean, we're doing really good on that aspect.
Oh, that's awesome. Is this information on a website of yours, or where can people find some of this information?
We have a Facebook page, and any current stuff that we're doing or all the information on how to place orders is on our Facebook page. We have had some inquiries about e-transfers. We cannot accommodate e-transfers for payment. So strictly Visa, MasterCard is the only option we have at the moment. They leave their list. They have to be aware that just like any place, there's lots of times we may be out of certain products. So, I mean, on the list, we asked them to let us know whether they're okay with substitutions or whether they just want us to not give those items if we don't have them.
So is there any tips? Like, we've never been in a COVID pandemic before, right? Like, this is new for everybody. So I can understand that there's not already resources built for something like this. Is there any tips that you can share on how to grocery shop during a pandemic? I mean, a couple of weeks ago, everyone was going crazy and buying up toilet paper and stockpiling. And that makes sense in some way. I know for myself, the last time I went out grocery shopping was 2.5 weeks ago, and we live with a family of 4, but I wanted to make sure that I didn't have to go back out. However, I'm hearing different, because then I feel like all I did was stockpile 2.5 weeks ago. So what do you recommend?
No, so I did post some smart shopping tips for during COVID-19 on our Facebook page, which gives it in details. But some of the highlights are, we really only want one family member to come in the store to get the groceries, and to be prepared and make a list, trying to plan to shop for at least 1 week, if not 2 at a time, to limit your number of times into the grocery store and your exposure. So, I mean, that means stocking up on the staples and basics, and just being one person at a time, not bringing the family in. Some of the shopping is, I'm trying to think, I have all the stuff on there. Making sure you keep your distance when you're shopping. Look with your eyes at things, examine the produce, examine things with your eyes. Don't touch something until you're ready to buy it and then put it in your cart. And sometimes you have to wait in the aisle because someone else is there, and give everybody their space. Keep in mind that six foot distance. Try to use the bathroom before you come in. There's, I think the big thing is that we all have to learn to adapt. These are really different times. And I think adaptability is the key word to everything. We're adapting. The customers need to adapt. It's not business as usual for no one.
Those are excellent. And how are you stressful? That's kind of stressful to go into work every morning knowing that, that you very well could be exposed to somebody who is positive.
Yes. Our staff are doing really well, but there's a lot of stress. They're dealing with the same stresses as everyone else. They're worried about their own health exposure, that of their families. I mean, several of our staff are unable to come in and can't work because they have family members who have health issues that they don't want to put at risk. So there's an added stress. And then there's a majority of people are wonderful, and they're thanking us, and everything's, you guys are the heroes. But the real thing, if you really want to thank the grocery store people, is to try and follow some guidelines as about social distancing, about limiting your number of shops, and then just cut them some slack a little bit, because they're stressed too, just like everyone else with their day-to-day thing. Nobody who was signed up to work in a grocery store thought that they would be risking their life when they come into their shift.
That's the truth. That's the absolute truth. Well, Lindsay, I want to pose this one to you. Do you have any tips on food prep during a pandemic such as this? Like meal planning, that sort of information?
For sure. There's lots of things that you can do that are going to help to support exactly what Denise was saying. Planning ahead. So menu planning is going to be so important. I was talking with someone today about that, and we were talking about the fact that most people probably don't menu plan. They might plan their meal for that day, maybe the next day. But as Denise was saying, plan for a week, 2 weeks. Look at what you have in your fridge, in your cupboards, in your freezer. It's a great time to clean those things out and see what you have. And plan your meals around those, and look for simple meals. They don't need to be extravagant. It is a great time to try new recipes, but simple is good. And that way you can limit how much you're buying when you go into the grocery store as well. And having those items on hand that can work for a variety of different ways. Pasta is fantastic. Tomato sauce, canned vegetables, frozen vegetables will last a lot longer than the fresh stuff will. So if you're planning for a couple weeks out, use your fresh stuff at the beginning and plan for more of the canned and frozen. The canned and frozen is just as healthy as the fresh stuff is, especially right now. So there's nothing wrong with using those items. And just taking that time to really know what you need before you go into the store. Have a clear list made up so that you can support the grocery workers who are doing such a great job right now. And all of that information is available on the health unit's website. We have both tips on how to grocery shop safely, as well as menu planning and budgeting.
So Lindsay, anything that United Way can do to share that messaging, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Denise, back to you. I was on the phone with you last night, and we were talking about how this is a different world for everyone. Some things are unrelatable to one another. We have folks that have lost their jobs. We have folks that are working twice as much as they signed up for. Can you share with me how COVID-19 has affected your family, particularly the story that you told me last night?
Yeah, well, we're both working crazy amount of hours because we were so busy and we were trying to adapt to all the changes. And just over a week ago, we sat down in the morning, had coffee early in the morning, and we were discussing, assessing everything. And all of a sudden we realized, by both of us working in the store together, if one of us came in contact or one of us became ill, we would both have to be out of the store for an indefinite amount of time. And that put our business at risk. It would be very difficult to provide the grocery store to be there for our customers and our staff if neither one of us could be there. So we made a really hard decision. And after years of living together and working together, my husband is now living separately and had to move out. So he continues to work at the store, and I'm home raising our 2 grandkids and staying home, completely home, so that I'm not exposed to anything. If in case something happens to him or some of our key people, I'm able to step in and be healthy enough to step in and run the business. So it was a tough decision.
And it's a plan. And I think that, I think we're all doing our very best to, practice that social distancing. I'm coming to you live in my home office. My husband and I had the same conversation. I decided to make the decision to, move it here until all of this sort of hopefully passes really soon. So thank you both. Thank you both for joining us here today. I do want to share one additional thing. If people are looking to volunteer, some people do have some extra time on their hands these days. Please visit our ckgives.ca. And Denise, if you are looking for any volunteers to do those deliveries, I already have a roster of volunteers that have, raised their hand and said, I want to help. So please reach out to me, and I will definitely connect you with those folks. And any of you out there that want to, support the work that we are doing collectively in this community, your donations are greatly, greatly needed. Please visit us at ckgives.ca, and we really appreciate all of the support. Join us tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock. We will have Karen Mulligan, who is the executive director from 211. She's going to talk to you about 211 and how it supports the entire community. So this is a provincial hotline where folks can call in and learn where to get help. Okay, so thank you both ladies for joining us today. Stay safe, everyone. Stay healthy, stay informed, and stay connected. Thank you.